very much. I feel old. He makes me feel
Okay,
old
guys, we're
because
going to try this again. I don't know if I got that first cut, but we are at a Second Amendment rally for our rights in Denver, Colorado. We are in front of the state's
weird. That's weird. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget all the booths out here.
Scanning here.
Moving towards the end of our speaker list. So hang
It is
tight.
Saturday. We just got through with a little rain here, so the participation is a little bit on the weak side.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Pretty decent.
Our next speaker is a 19-year-old young woman who's become an outspoken advocate and supporter of the Second Amendment.
State police
cares
here.
about the Second Amendment so much that
And then down on the city of other side of the street there is the city of Denver. So our officers down there waiting to counsel us. But they realize they're outgunned on this hill today. And let's tour around. And usually during these things, the state police like having their little riot gas mask on their sides.
Welcome our next speaker with a case of bronchitis, so give her a little bit of extra love. Haley Marcantonio.
Because this group will return fire. So that's it. So if anything else that happens, we'll get back to you. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Disregard their oath of office. That disregard their duty to uphold and support the Constitution. We have to do that, but I need your help. We have to be watchful. We as citizens must be vigilant. We as citizens must assert our rights and hold the judges accountable, vote the bad ones out, and remind the good ones, there are a few good ones, hey, good on you, Judge, for swatting down this ERPO. When someone comes to a judge with an unsupported accusation, and the judge, the rare judge that has a spine and a backbone, and says, get out of my court. There's no basis for this. We have a constitutional right that is in jeopardy here. You're violating their due process. Come back when you've actually brought them into court and they can defend themselves. And then we can talk. But any judge that signs off on an ERPO, I believe, is in violation of his oath. And we need to hold them accountable. Thanks again. Check out clearthebenchcolorado.org. Stay up on your judges, because if they're not held accountable, if they do not believe we are watching them, they will kowtow to the pressure that they'll get, because their echo chamber will be, oh, guns are bad, okay? They're not bad. Guns save lives. We know that. Those of us who carry guns in the course of our duties, in the course of securing the protection for ourselves and our families, we know that guns are tools. In the hands of good people, they're good tools. But our rights are sacrosanct. Our constitutionally secured rights, our due process rights, which are all put at risk by this ERPO garbage, need to be defended. And the judges who will not uphold their oath need to be removed in our place.
Prosecuted.
Once again, this is all a comprehensive effort. There are a lot of things we need to do, but again, my name is Matt Arnold, clearthebenchcolorado.org. Keep attention, pay attention to your judges. We will be tracking them. I need your help, but let's get this done, and let us defend our rights and be citizens, not subjects. Thank you very much.
If this is your first Rally for Our Rights event, or maybe you've been to one around the area,
Patriots, am I right? So again, thank you all for standing here shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, putting partisan politics aside in defense of the most critical right that we have. The right that defends all of our rights. The right to keep and bear arms. For those of you who are not familiar with our organization, Rally for Our Rights, let me give you a little bit of a background. We're a nonpartisan, nonprofit gun rights advocacy organization. We started in April 2018 in response to March for Our Lives rallies that took place all over the nation. I, just like many of you, watched as hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets demanding the government take away the gun rights of their fellow citizens, all because of what one very evil person in Florida had done. This wasn't just concerning to me, it was downright frightening. I decided that idly by. I posted a simple question on my personal Facebook page. I asked if I was to plan a march in support of gun rights, if anyone would attend. The response was outstanding. Hundreds of people said that they would be there in a heartbeat. So it began. I created an event on social media, an event I simply titled Rally for Our Rights, and it spread like wildfire. 10 days later, I woke up on another cold, dreary Saturday morning, and that day I held my very first gun rights rally on the streets of Loveland, Colorado, without a permit and without permission. On that day, over 500 people joined me, many openly carrying their firearms. It was an amazing day, and I know many of you who are here right now were also there then. Thank you for being founding members of this organization. Without you, we would not be where we are today. After the wild success that was Loveland, I did something even crazier, something completely unheard of, something most people did not believe was possible. I took Rally for Our Rights into the beast, the belly of the beast, Boulder, Colorado. Working with a Boulder resident, in 10 days, we planned a street demonstration in response to the city's proposed assault weapons ban. On that morning of our event, it was snowing. It was again cold and dreary, dark clouds hanging over this horrible, horrible ordinance there in Boulder. But it didn't matter. More than 600 people still came out into the streets to fight the overreaching, tyrannical ordinance the city was trying to pass. And again, many openly carried their firearms, even the terrifying AR-15. We again did this without a permit and without permission. In the heart of that liberal city, we used our First Amendment to fight for our Second Amendment. And it was awesome. It was after the second rally that I knew I needed to take this energy, this frustration, and this passion and turn it into political action. That is when the name Rally for Our Rights went from being a rally on the streets to an organized group of individuals who became a force to be reckoned with. We fought back in Boulder, showing up at their city council meetings en masse, taking all the seats the gun grabbers were used to occupying. We started watching other city council agendas and discovered creeping gun control everywhere. We became modern-day Paul Revere's, sounding the alarm to otherwise oblivious townspeople, and we stopped a lot of it. Then last November, this state witnessed the deepest blue election sweep since 1936. With the hyper-partisan makeup of the newly elected Colorado legislature, we knew extreme legislation was coming our way. And with Every Town for Gun Safety spending $750,000 to elect anti-gun, anti-freedom politicians, we knew gun control undoubtedly was going to be at the top of their agenda, and it was. On February 14th, the gun grabbers, whose salaries are paid by us, the taxpayers I'll add, introduced the worst red flag bill this country has ever seen. This unconstitutional and downright dangerous piece of legislation was opposed by citizens and law enforcement alike. This legislation, which was being shoved down our throats as a mental health bill, was eventually outed by its own sponsors as not being about mental health at all. It was actually about taking away the guns. Then we were told it was a tool for law enforcement. Yet nearly every sheriff in Colorado came out in opposition to it, along with the Denver Police Union and the Aurora Police Union. Turned out law enforcement didn't want this tool either. But the privileged politicians under this golden dome forced through the bill, knowing they would never have to enforce it. They do not care about law enforcement or gun owners' lives. They only care about their agenda of taking away guns from those who have never committed a crime. They only care about their end goal of disarming citizens, no matter the collateral damage. What happened in this building behind me should tell us only one thing. It is no longer left versus right. It is the citizens versus the elites. It is us versus them. I didn't grow up typical home. My parents didn't own guns. Gunpowder is not in my genes. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be. I am a single mother with 3 beautiful daughters. I understand that I am not only my first line of defense, but I am their first line of defense. And the gun grabber politicians want to strip me of that right. They want to limit and tell me how to defend my family so that I cannot do it as I see fit. Also, that they can pass feel-good, knee-jerk, virtue-signaling laws that do nothing to make our communities safer. Well, I have one thing to say to them. We will not comply. We will not comply with laws that only criminalize the law-abiding. We will not comply with laws that are touted as suicide prevention when they have nothing to do with suicide. We will not comply with laws that take away our ability to defend ourselves and our families when we need it the most. And we will not comply with laws that infringe on our rights to keep and bear arms. Gun owners and gun rights advocates have been silent too long. We mind our own business and we leave others alone. But I refuse to be silent any longer. And I'm calling on you to join me. I'm calling on you to mobilize, to speak up and find others to mobilize too. Find white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, agnostic, young, old, find every citizen who supports our God-given right to self-defense and get them to join us. You know, it was just over 1 year ago that I organized my first Rally for Our Rights. I, like many of you, did not know what to expect. But what I found was that I was not alone. I was joined by people from all walks of life. I was surrounded by mothers and fathers, teachers, business owners, employees, and retirees, by students and grandparents. And we all had one thing in common. We had had enough. This past year, my life has changed drastically as I have stepped up to lead this fight. But I am nothing special. I am just like all of you. Someone who is driven to take a stand. I was called to action and I've accepted. I have pushed my own boundaries more than I ever imagined they could be pushed. I challenge each and every one of you here today to leave and find your calling in defense of liberty, in defense of our most important right, the right to keep and bear arms. No matter how big or how small, every voice, every email, every phone call, every meeting, every time we stand up for our constitutional rights, we become stronger and louder. We will take the second back. We must take the second back. And we will not give up this fight. Thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate the support and making the drive to Denver. What a great crowd. Make sure you stop over our Rally for Our Rights booth. As Jimmy has said, we are raising money for the Kendrick Castillo Memorial Fund. All the money will be donated directly to the Wells Fargo account for him. Rally for Our Rights, at every event we do, we always support a charity. We have done coat drives. We have supported domestic violence shelters, the Humane Society, and this is the charity we chose this time. It's very fitting, so please get over there, put in a few dollars. If you want to write a check, just make it right out to the Memorial Fund, and the money will be delivered on your behalf. Thank you all so much.